green light, and away we go for qualifying ahead of the fourth round of the FIA Formula 3 Championship in 2025, and the 15 minutes are underway. Hello everybody, welcome to qualifying.
You're disqualified. Come on.
That's Solov going off there. Welcome to qualifying and the Formula 3 Championship, which kicks off here for its fourth round of the championship at Monte Carlo. So slightly late on air. A few systems weren't booting thanks to FOM's data graphics not reloading in time, so we had to wait. But we are underway for this qualifying session. Two groups, 16 minutes apiece. And we are going to see a few changes to how it normally is. So just to explain the Monaco qualifying format to you as well. So the fastest driver overall will start the Sunday race, the feature, from pole position. The fastest driver in the opposite group, alongside them on the front row. Positions then alternate between groups until the remaining positions are filled on the grid. So, this is how it's going to work. A slightly new system for qualifying this year. As last year, it was the opposite side of the grid. So, the pole group was the odd numbers, and the second group was the even numbers. Now that's slightly changed to come into it. So we have the grid split up. Now we're going to change how it all works around. 15 cars on track instead of the 30 in practice. Finding track position should be easier. As you can see, the cars will now head out onto the circuit and loop them around. It's the first on-track action we've had here this morning at what is now 11:08 a.m. as they go through the Nouvelle chicane and then down towards to back. Everybody's gone out together, which means that the track is actually more busy than it would have been to begin with. Last lap times not counting as best lap times just yet. This is their first runs and drivers already trying to get track position and they're backing up. So it's not exactly gone the greatest way here this morning.
To go and put the pressure on Rafa Kamara in this session, Gary.
Yeah, exactly. As I say, it's nice to be able to see, but if you go and see someone put a lap record in, it's going to put the pressure on you when you head out there. So it's good to get a reference, because obviously yesterday, compared to the competition time from last year, we were 3 seconds away still. So there's a lot of lap time to be found.
Let's watch Noah Stromstead up towards Sandevort. The challenge of qualifying here, completely unique, Gary. You've raced around here yourself. It is something like no other in motorsport. Yeah, it's an incredible circuit. Like I say, the surface is like a race circuit. It's so smooth. They resurface it constantly, and it's not like any other street circuit out there, but it's like a race circuit with concrete walls and armco barriers millimeters from where you're driving all the time. So the level of kind of concentration you have to have around here, especially on a qualifying lap, is really intense. And no less than that first corner. We saw the first corner, people having problems yesterday. It's not, you're coming around the straight, which isn't a straight, it's a curve right, trying to find the latest braking point you can, heading into Saint-Gobain, and getting it wrong is very easy, and that's the last thing you want to do at this very first corner of your qualifying lap.
Strom said, good first sector times coming through at the moment. The deltas are starting to come through. Here's your sector times with the best so far. Brad Benedives, 142.393, but we know that they will and can do better. 15 cars in this session, 15 will be in the following as they accelerate once more through the chicane. And oh, hello, look, he's just gone faster. Gerard Jean, the fastest middle sector, and now the traffic starting to approach at Rascasse that we were talking about yesterday, and how ridiculous it gets for drivers to actually even try and get a full lap time in. Maybe qualifying at Monaco should be a single format. That's what seemed to work back in the Formula 1 days best. There's a giant mosquito hanging around the commentary area here, which is never a good thing. Especially when you decide today's a short sleeve 75th anniversary Formula 1 shirt I have underneath. So through the hairpin we come now. Zagazzetta goes up to 8th place. It's Stromstead, Delpino. Brad Benedives now top, 1:27.860. That's better. That is more likely the lap times we are going to see across this racing weekend. This sets, of course, the grid for the feature. And we will have reverse grid pole as well. Let's not forget that joyous little fact that keeps cropping up as well. Reverse grid set by the top 12 reversed. Stenshall nearly into the barrier there as they come through. No Leon faster, so Solov. Bruno Delpino goes top, 1:27. No, Martin Steinshaw, 1:27.180. So, okay, time's improving very quickly in this session. No one's put it into the wall just yet. Maybe Formula 3 will be the best of the qualifying groups today. We've got qualifying later for Formula 2 and the Porsche Super Cup. Yeah, that's going to be on a Friday. Omi's back with us. He'll be taking you through that action. Solov goes top on a 1:26.072. More time, more action. But these are very much still beginnings of the preparation times.
Martin Stenshall, Louis Sharp, Mary Boyer, Charlie Wirtz, then it is Gerard G. Now, Mary Boyer looks like he's had his time deleted for track limits at turn 10, which is the Nouvelle Chicane, so he drops down. So it's Charlie.
Got a yellow flag. Yellow flags come out. Now, this could mean a red in the series. Yeah, Boyer's had his lap time deleted for track limits, turn 10, lap 5. Yellow flag, track hazard. I don't know who or where. The timing screen has not told us who has stopped. Just got it. There we go. And it is Louis Sharp down at Saint-Devant. He might be able to find reverse and get out of there okay. The green flags have come out now. Yeah, I think he's actually going to get out of the Saint-Devant runoff area. Green flags are out. That doesn't mean that the session is green. He's having to do a Austin Powers movement of a million-point turn down there. But hopefully he should be able to get out AMK.
His last time out, and only just missed out on the top 12 last time as well, was P14 in qualifying. The American driver looking to try and get himself in towards the top 6, and it's the top 6 from each group that will be included in that top 12 which we reverse for the sprint race.
Yeah, you see Louis Sharp here, looks like just missing the braking point. He didn't really have much of a lock-up, but he knew he wasn't going to stop the car in the way to get around turn 1 Saint-Devant. And actually the timing of that's not bad because everyone is now on a cool lap. I think they'll be doing push, cool, another push lap right towards the end of the session. So they've probably got another 2 push laps each to go. And as you see on the timer screens, are all white sectors at the moment where they're just cooling the surface of the tyres down, cooling the surface down, trying to get some more gripping before they go for another push lap. It'll be interesting to see if they're doing kind of 1 or 2 push laps. We've got some green sectors in some of the guys now in the first sector. They're starting to get up to speed again.
Yeah, Martin Stenshall purple through the first sector. Niall, one of 4 or 5 drivers that's gone green. So has his Van Amersfoort Racing teammate, Ivan Dominguez. Here they come now through the swimming pool section. We saw a lot of drivers getting the rear end loose through there, and that looked like a bit of a moment for Teofil Niall, just demonstrating how hard he is pushing coming through the swimming pool section. No one's going faster than Nicholas Solov, though, through the first sector. He has set the fastest first sector of the lap. Let's watch Niall over the line. He's P12 in this group currently, and he goes to P4. That's a good improvement, but look at the gap to Nicholas Solov. Shows how quickly he's going out.
Yeah, they're not quite as quick as the time they had from yesterday. Yesterday they did 25.6, so there's a bit of lap time to find yet to get back to where they were yesterday. But the times are coming down. I think that every lap, every push lap they do, they'll just get quicker and quicker.
Martin Stenshall over the line. Bruno Delpino to P4. Martin Stenshall goes to P2. And only 700ths back from Nicholas Solov. Here comes Noel Leon, and he goes to the top of this first group, 125.749. Great time for him, but Nicholas Solov is about to come across the line any second now. Here he comes, the Red Bull Junior, and this is going to be fastest, surely it is. 125.647, and the pace is increasing all the time. More risks being taken out there from those guys towards the front. They're being rewarded for it, yeah.
Yeah, they are, and it's tough for the drivers and teams now, because every time the driver asks what the quickest time is so far, it's just going to get quicker every time. So yeah, they've just got to be out there pushing the quickest they can, just to
Solov
try and get the lap time
fastest.
out. As you see, Benavides coming across the line now. And can he improve from the P7? He is P3 now for him. That's a great lap time in purple last sector.
And he's gone fastest, as you said, through that last sector up to P3. That's a really good time. So had dropped to P7, but went back up to P3 again. It's almost last across the line, isn't it? The track seems to be improving all the time.
Yeah, and that's what I think will happen, and that's what is interesting about the two groups, because we're looking for pole position here. But like I say, the second group is likely to be slightly quicker with the track improving, the track getting warmer, more rubber going down from the tyres. So I think at the moment that the second group should have a slight advantage, but we'll wait and see. In about 20 minutes' time, we should know.
That second group, it's an interesting situation for them. They can't really control what's going on circuit. They just have to try and get in the zone almost. It's a unique situation for them in terms of this season.
Yeah, exactly. I just see them all coming through turn 10, 11 through the chicane now, all on another cool lap. As I say, the timing screens have got a bit white and yellow, just not a lot going on. No quick sectors coming in. As they are just getting ready for another push lap.
Louis Sharp has been noted for rejoining unsafely at turn 1, so we did see him go off at Sandivots, and he's been noted for rejoining unsafely. So top 6 is the key area to note here. Nicholas Solov looking like a front row start for him. So far, 125.647. Noel Leon would put himself on row 2. Brad Benavides, row 3. Tukatappen in 4th, and Stenchon, Boyer. Those are in that key top 6. And then it's Wirtz, G. Headley is doing a good job in 9th. Stromstead, a disappointing 10th, given he's second in the championship. He needs to improve. Then Zagazeta, Del Pino, Niall, Sharp, Dominguez into Nouvelle Chicane on board with Stenchon.
Yeah, Stenchon just momentarily having a purple first sector, but Sullivan has again put another purple sector in. The times are really coming down, but now, as you see, Stenchon into the swimming pool area. Should be easy flatness over the bumps. Yeah, easy flatness. The car's really well balanced through that area. And as we head up now towards the Rascats corner, don't lock the front. Yeah, locked the front wheel, but it was good. He made the apex as he comes through the last corner. Get on the power, stay away from the wall. Nice last corner of that, and let's see what this lap time gives him.
Over the line he goes. Del Pino has just gone 3rd, and Stenchon snatches that away from him.
That's better.
Here comes Noel Leon. This looks good enough to go quickest, and it is. Noel Leon to the top. 125.502. He has been in a real tussle with Nicholas Solov, but there are other drivers going very quickly. Solov bails from his lap. Charlie Wirtz is the one to watch on this lap. He is putting in some very good sector times. Let's pick up the Campos driver. Larry Boyer has been quite quiet in this session so far. What does the Campos driver do on this lap? He goes fastest. Wow, what a time to join Mary Boyer, fastest. And here comes Charlie Wirtz. Well, we said he was fastest through the first sector, and he goes P3.
Wow.
He's only 300s behind Mary Boyer. 34 thousandths is the gap between 1, 2 and 3. And Noah Stromstead needs to start improving. He's gone to P7, but he's now missing out on that top 6.
Yeah, and they're going to have one more lap to do this time. With 1 minute 15 left on the clock. They're all going to be having a slow lap now, and then starting their last push lap shortly before the checkered flag comes out. The good thing is, so far we've seen no traffic, which is good. I think the thing is, when you get into qualifying, everyone's on the same program, the same program. So although Solov now, I think he abandoned that lap, the previous lap, and now he's pushing again when they could be able to hook on a slow lap. So it'll be interesting to see if he gets any traffic on this lap.
Nicholas Solov, as you mentioned, he did abandon that lap, but he is going for it on this run. So Nicholas Solov pushing to try and get that Aramco pole position, and it would be his first one if he can do it. He heads through to back corner now, through the swimming pool section, and he's really pushing.
He is pushing hard, but Louis Sharp has now just put in a purple first sector, so the times are still tumbling, and as you say, it could be the last person across the line that gets this pole position. As you come through the last corner, just catching cars now, but he should be okay. Might even give him a toe down the straight.
Yeah, it looks like Gerard G is giving him a toe down the start-finish straight, and that will help him to go 6/10 clear at the front. What a time from Nicholas Solov. Charlie Wirtz goes to P2. This is Louis Sharp.
Yeah, much better time now as the checkered flag comes out. Solov, Wirtz, Boyer, Norleon, and then we get Stenshore in 5th position. Brad Benedivas are absolutely flying sharp too, but fastest first sector goes to Martin and Steinshaw, 23.2, and now 23.1 for Murray Boyer. Yellow flags out. Now we haven't got that in our control tower. That has not come out to us, so where's that local yellow? Sharp over the line. Only improves up to 6th. It's turn 1. Double yellows at Sandoval. Here's Martin Stenshaw then. Into the Nivelle chicane. He's got a car in front, that'll help with traffic. Sector time still 23.1 for Boyer. It's Zagazeta who's off at the first corner. That's why we've got a stock car. That's who's got red on our timings tower. Stenshaw's being blocked. He's not going to like this by the MP in front of him. This is definitely now impeding. Over the line, Martin and Stenshaw. This is not going to be pole position. Norleon goes second. Stenshaw's missed out big time. That was clear blocking for the MP in front. Here comes Murray Boyer. Fastest first sector. Can he get anything over the line? Tuka Tappanen 4th. Boyer 2nd. Solov has provisional pole position after the opening group stage here of Formula 3 qualifying. 1:24.882. That is the time to beat at the moment.
That if it's 1 and 3 or 2 and 4 after the next group's gone out.
That is a great time from Murray Boyer, a great performance, and as you mentioned, they have 2 cars on the front 2 rows guaranteed for the feature race on Sunday. Brad Benavides just getting a little bit too close to the wall there.
Yeah, just slightly. I say we can brush the balls around here, but when you hit an apex wall like that, it's never good actually. And a good job the front wheel stayed attached there. It was definitely a bit of flex in that wall, and as we see the cars just running up against the Armco barrier here. No damage to the car there, but yeah, it was a clean session otherwise. It was.
Nicholas Solov, we watch. Will that be a first pole position? Will that be the Aramco pole position for Nicholas Solov? All we can do is wait to find out as we wait for Group B.
Vamos, hostia. Grande, Nico. That's P1, P2. Come on. Vamos. Vamos.
Great performance from Nicholas Solov, the place he took his first Formula 3 win just a year ago in the sprint race. Will he be the driver to lead us away? He'll certainly be on the front row, and he'll have his teammate directly behind him, Murray Boyer. He needed that result, Murray Boyer. It's not been the start to the season. He would have wanted 13th in the championship.
Well, no, mate, it is P2, P2. Vamos! Vamos! Ah! Okay, let's go, guys. Yeah, this is a P1, P2 for the team. P1, Nicola, P2, you. Well done. Good job, mate.
That's great. A great result for him. He got a chance to get big points on feature race Sunday.
Yeah, he has, exactly. It puts him in a great position, as you say, with overtaking very difficult round here. He's got a great chance of finishing in the top 5 on Sunday's race. Interestingly, Martinius Denshon took P6 there, which will put him on the front row for the sprint race.
It will, and winning around Monaco, you know from a driver's perspective, that's exactly what you want to do, and he'll be on the front row for the sprint race tomorrow.
Yeah, I've not won here myself, so that's definitely something I've not got on my CV. But yeah, it's an incredibly special achievement, and something that will certainly stay on the CV.
Nicholas Solov on the front row for the feature race as he goes to the top. Will that be the Aramco pole position for him? 1:24.8 is now the time to beat. Murray Boyer 2nd, a Campos 1-2, Noel Leon, a much needed good performance for him in 3rd. Then Verts, Tappanen, Stenshorn goes to the front row for the sprint race. Sharp, Stromstead 2nd in the championship will be on the 8th row for both races. Then Dominguez and Benavides, Zagazeta, Niall, Del Pino, G, James Headley in his 2nd round this season. Disappointing result that for Stromstead is going to be down the grid for both races. That leaves the door open for the likes of Tramnitz, Tappanen and Kamara as well. So disappointing result that for him. It leaves the door open certainly for the likes of Tramnitz and Kamara.
It does, exactly. It's really disappointing to qualify, midfield towards the back here in Monaco, knowing making 1 or 2 places is going to be difficult, let alone 10, 12. So it's, yeah, he's got a tough couple of days ahead of him now.
he does. He'll know that. So we'll see what happens with the following group, but they'll know Kamara, who already has a 21-point lead over him, now has an opportunity, and Tramnitz, who is only 4 points behind Stromstead, has a chance to put himself directly ahead of him. Brando Badaware, where he's just seen what his teammate Noel Leon has done. He knows the pace is in that Prema Racing car. He's got a chance here to go and get a good result for himself. When you're in a split qualifying group, it's something that these drivers would have been used to coming through the likes of F4, Formula Regional. How is that mentally preparing for, particularly when you're in that second group?
Yeah, I think it's always nice being in the second group because you get to see, like I say, how the tyres have warmed up. You get the information from your teammates through the team of what the car's feeling like compared to what it was yesterday. You've seen what the lap time comparisons are like, because the only delta they'll have on their lap time is what they did yesterday. So now they know how much quicker they need to go. Obviously, you've got the pressure of the lap times that they've got and put in now, and you've got a target. But I generally think it's an advantage going in the second group because you've got so much more information. Yeah,
it definitely does help. Knowing, I guess, at the time you have to chase Kamara, that is his tribute helmet to Ayrton Senna, the most successful driver around here, and I'm sure he'll want to carry that helmet with him when he comes down to the famous run on the start-finish straight and take it with him towards a victory. Ugo Ugachukwu has had a good performance at Imola. We'll use that as a confidence boost, I'm sure, coming into this round. So let's go through the drivers you're going to see in this group then. Group B will include Brando Badaware, Ugo Ugachukwu, Rafael Kamara, your championship leader, Lawrence Van Houten, who has taken a pole position before, James Wharton, Sanapol Inchapubazak, Josh Dufek, Tim Tramnitz, Alessandro Giusti, Santiago Ramos, Callum Voisin, those two have taken pole before, Roman Belinsky, Nicola Marinangeli, Nicola Lacorte, Christian Ho, and those are the drivers who are going to participate in this group. And Nicola Solov just wishing his teammate Sanapol Inchapubazak good luck there, and maybe some words exchanged into how the track is feeling.
Yeah, exactly. I think that would have been more the case of just, you know, how the track's feeling, what to look out for, what to try, and where you can push, where you've got to be cautious. Because they only had the one session yesterday. As we've said, you don't drive at Monaco. When you go to Barcelona or somewhere like that, they've done so many laps around Barcelona. They know it like the back of their hand. But yeah, here you just don't get much track time here.
It's a place that is a very unique challenge for the drivers. So Group B about to begin, and now we will head out onto the circuit, ready to go. So drivers coming out onto the circuit, and the challenge begins for the next qualifying session. So we'll go through that build-up process first of all, and then it will be the case of trying to chase down that pole position going.
Yeah, exactly. I think they had probably two, 3 laps of building the temperature in the tyres, and they'll be doing the same again, not rushing it, not rushing to try and get the car working sooner than it's ready. And they'll also be fighting for position, just trying to find their best position, trying to find a gap before they start their push laps.
Drivers just making their way round now and onto the formation lap to start building through. And that's a great drone shot, gives us a great view of the challenge that we have here.
Yeah, so on the left-hand side there you've got Casino heading down to Mirabeau, and then the hairpin before they go into the tunnel. As we spoke about the tunnel today, obviously they're in a very dim light. The lights there's lights in there, but they're not great. And when you come out of the tunnel into that glare, into the brightness, just as you're about to break the chicane, it's suddenly something very unique for Monaco.
It is. It's a special challenge driving around here. As these young drivers, what's it going to be like coming out onto this circuit for the first time in a qualifying session?
Yeah, it's very special. You know, it's very special here at Monaco with all the glitz and glamour and the boats and the palace and everything, but it's just getting back down to business, business as usual. You've still got to go out and deliver on track. They've done all their kind of simulator driving, all their preparations, They had the test yesterday, so now it's just a case of pushing the car to the limit and getting the best of that time out the car they can.
Solov watches on. He set his time 1:24.882. Our time to beat. So he's done his work, and now he's in that unusual position of finding out which side of the grid he's going to start on.
Yeah, it's at the moment it's a great position to be in until, yeah, if the group suddenly goes half a second quicker, then he won't be quite so happy. But at least he knows he's on the front row.
Yeah, a pole position at Monaco would feel very special. Will he take home that Aramco pole position trophy? He'll certainly want to be on that. Both feature races have been won from pole position so far here. This is our third visit to the Principality, the FIA Formula 3 Championship. Drivers making their way downhill and into the hairpin. We've seen some ambitious moves down the inside and the outside here. Let's see who is going to take pole. Will it be a record for pole for Rafael Camara in this session, or will he be beaten in qualifying for the first time? Only he and Noah Stromstead were in the top 12 in sessions so far, but that has already changed. So can Rafa Camara keep up the consistency and take all 4 poles? It's been really super consistent from him so far. Great drone views. We've been getting these supplied to us in Formula 3 all season. I've got to say, they look absolutely remarkable here at Monaco.
Yeah, we're definitely not one of them boats. It would be nice though, wouldn't it?
It would be great.
Yeah.
I've got to say, we'd get a really good view of the circuit, and we could just move to different parts of the circuit as well.
Yeah, exactly. So no, it is beautiful, and it is something that you don't get anywhere else in the world.
And the atmosphere of Monaco as well, you must feel it as a driver when you go there immediately, and for these young drivers, that must be some experience.
Yeah, the buzz around the place is just incredible from the moment you arrive. It's something very special, and logistically it's really tough for these guys. Kind of, the F1 paddock, the F1 pits are in the middle of the circuit, whereas these guys are parked, a couple of miles away in a car park basically, and have to drive to the circuit in the cars. The teams have to drive the vans to the pit lane. So yeah, logistically it's really tough for them. Yeah, it's really tough, but it's Monaco, so you kind of get on with it.
Exactly, it is Monaco. You'll do anything to make it work there. It's just such a special occasion for them, and one that you'll always remember if you can go and get a good result there. Tim Tramnitz is a driver who will certainly want to be included on that podium. He's gone well here in the past, makes his way out the tunnel, and the noise of these new cars must sound absolutely superb around here as well when they all blast through. Oh dear, that is Nicola Lacorte, and he's
right
in trouble. I think that's down at Mirabeau, and he's possibly gone off.
No, I think
was that Sandoval?
I think it's Sandoval, which has gone further than other people have.
Right,
seems to have just...
it is.
Yeah, he's probably locked a wheel down there and not stopped it in time. So he's locked it quite late. He's done a good job there because he's already turned into the corner. Decided to turn out, which is definitely the right decision, but he's got a long way back to the circuit from where he is.
So just going to be a little bit tricky getting back out of there. Okay. So we've gone through that build process, it seems, and now we're going to watch Tim Tramnitz at full speed up the hill for the first time.
Yeah, as he goes up the hill here through Beau Rivage, up to the blind entry to Massenet, one of the fastest corners on the circuit up here, through Massenet, into Casino, where you see the Casino just on the right-hand side, down the hill towards Mirabeau, and as we see...
He's refired it.
Lacorte still trying to make his way
well
back.
done.
Well, this is a problem because there's a yellow flag at turn 1, so they'll have to abide by that. But he's now out, so it's going to go green there again. Yeah,
exactly. I think they're still in a tyre conditioning phase here. Yeah. As we saw, the lap times getting quicker and quicker through the session. So although this is a push lap, they're still not going to be their best lap time in the session. They're still kind of putting some heat, putting some temperature into the tyres now before they do a cool lap just to cool the surface of the tyre, but trying to keep what they call the bulk temperature, the temperature inside the tyre up.
So we'll get through that process and then we really will see the laps come out. 1:24.882 is our time to beat. The top 6 from the first session, for a reminder, and the top 6 from each session will be included in the top 12, which we reverse, were Solov, Boyer, Leon, Bert, Tapanen, and Stenchel as well. Tapanen doing a good job as he's included in that top 5 in the championship over the line, and that's a good time to kick us off. We're already around a second back from Solov. Tramnitz, Giusti in P2. Ichapubazak goes to second place. Here is Kamara. Can he get a record for pole? Up to the line he goes, and that is a 125.6 for him.
Better.
A quick lap time at this point in the session. They've still got probably 2 push laps to go. You expect an increase of, an improvement in his lap time both times. So that's looking good for Kamara so far.
It really is. Callum Boysen
doing good as well.
He's been on pole position, did so at Spa last year. Can he return there? Up the hill he goes. Very close times, only 2/10, and now we begin to see the drivers just cooling the tyres down once more. It looks like the next laps, when they really push for it, is when we might see those times just sort of start to be challenged. But it was right at the end of the session. It seemed the track just started to get quicker and quicker, and that's Hugo Ugachuku off. And is that at the first corner again?
Yes, it is.
Trying to make his way back on the circuit. It's probably the end of a push lap. So again, probably he just done a push lap.
He stalled it.
He stalled the engine.
Lost the engine.
Yeah. They can refire.
As you see a replay here, just coming down. Yeah, hits the brakes on the boy. Again, quite late. He'd already turned into the corner before he decided to go down the escape road. We see a lot of people lock a front wheel as soon as they press the brake pedal there, but that was at the point of turn in. He's decided, no, I'm not going to make this. I'll take the easy way out. So yeah, good job to be able to keep himself alive for the session. And yeah, a yellow flag on track. I assume for that.
I
think so. I think he might still be down there, and he's out now. So just in time for Ramos. What's the biggest challenge of that first corner? We've seen a few drivers get caught out there, particularly in the Sports Series. Well, what's the biggest challenge?
Yeah, it's the problem is to say you're turning right the whole way down the straight, so you've never got the steering wheel straight, and there's a few bumps, and the car kind of goes over a bit of a crest as you turn into the corner. So you're coming down. You've got a little bit of load off that front wheel. The moment you hit the brake pedal, it's very easy just to lock, just to catch that front right wheel. So you're trying to straighten the car as much as you can. Sometimes you can just push too hard there, because actually the exit's really important, because then you've got the long run up the hill through Beaurivage up to Massenet, that you actually want to concentrate more on kind of the minimum speed and the exit of the corner rather than the latest braking point.
Yeah, you can really see the elevation change and how bumpy the track is demonstrated from the camera angles we get there, which are always superb. I have to say, the team always do a great job delivering action to us, particularly with the drone shots we are getting this weekend in Formula 3, Formula 2. Right, round Nouvelle Chicane. Alessandro Giusti's been on great form the last 2 rounds and looking to continue that this weekend. MP getting their first 1-2 in FIA Formula 3 history last time out, but Tramnitz is going to be a little bit delayed through this last section.
Yeah, we didn't see any of this in the first group, but we saw it yesterday. A lot of people getting held up, getting traffic in that last sector, and the race director's notes actually say you have to be at racing speed from turn 18, Rascas, which I'm not convinced that was.
No, so they have to be aware of that. Right, Kamara over the line, and that is a 125.6. 124.882, the time to beat if you want overall pole position. Lawrence Van Hoopen really could do with a good result. Got in the points for the first time, the last time out, and he goes to the top of this group. What about Callum Boysen? Very good second sector.
Fastest.
And that's going to take him to the top. 125.359. Good drive from the British driver so far, and he's joined at the front by his Rodin Motorsport teammate. They are 1 and 2. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? It was Campos 1 and 2 in Group A. Group B so far, it's Rodin 1 and 2.
Yeah, you see this, the time is starting to just come down, but there's still quite a big gap to the time of the first group, the 124.8 that we saw from Solov. So they've still got half a second to find this group to go to put themselves in the front on pole position.
Yeah, they have. Hugo Ugachuku had that spin. It's possibly interrupted his plan. He seems out of sequence now with the rest of the field. Let's see what he does into this final corner, into Anthony Noakes. He's doing personal best. He's down in 12th. He could do with improvement. His teammate Noel Leon did well, got 3rd place in the first group. What does Ugo do? P7, so knocking on the door of that top 6. Could it be an all McLaren Junior front row for the sprint race if he could go one better?
It could, yeah. P7 probably the worst place to qualify.
Yes, it is. It really is. It's what Lawrence Van Hoopen. It's a replay.
Yeah, copy.
Yeah, obviously touched the apex wall there in turn 15, which is always pretty scary, touching the apex wall. They come up on you pretty quick, but he seems to have got away unscathed. His steering looks like it's straight still, so I think he'll be all right.
Black flag for...
Roman Belinsky.
We've got a black flag for car 29 of Nicholas Lacorte for receiving outside assistance, and now we've got a yellow flag out there on the circuit. I hope it's not for drivers going too slowly coming into Raskas, but yeah, it's not for that. Red flag! Oh no! Into the wall has gone Brandon Bedora, and it is down at the first corner at Saint-Devant. He has taken off the front left suspension, the front wing is gone, and the red flag stops the clock with 3:21 to go. I'm okay, which is good news, but session suspended. Well, that's not the best thing you wanted to see as well, or even hear. Red flag out, session is suspended. Let's back down.
Of Nicholas Solov, 124.882. The drivers are half a second away from that, and when we go green, there'll only be 3 minutes and 21 seconds to beat it.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. They'll get time for they'll get 2 kind of prep laps in before they've got a final push lap, depending on where you are in the pit lane, how much time you've got. So it's going to be tough, because obviously the tyres are going to lose temperature now, you know, on the slow lap into the pits while they're waiting in the pits. No tyre warmers in this series, so the cars are just sitting in the pit lane with the tyres getting cooler. The marshals here, they know how to get cars out of the way quickly, so I shouldn't think it'll be too much of a delay. But certainly it's not ideal for them guys in the second group.
Good to see him jumping out of the car. Shame we don't race for the first time until tomorrow. That will be at 10:45 local time, so he's going to have to sleep on that one, sadly, and he'll be very disappointed. Let's find out what happened.
Yeah, as he heads down to Saint-Devant here, finds a braking point, and he's just lost the rear of the car on the way in.
I lost it.
Yeah, different to what we've seen other people do. As you see here, he's just carried probably a bit too much speed into the corner, and the rear of the car has just gone, no, that's too much for me, and yeah, he's corrected that and yeah, put it straight into the wall, unfortunately. So yeah, fair bit of damage there.
We were just talking about the challenge of that corner as well. But different to what we'd seen some of the other drivers do. It's usually it's a lock up and straight on. That looked a little bit different.
Yeah, exactly. I think what he's done there, again, he's kind of what I said. He's not concentrated too much on braking super late. He's just tried to carry the speed through the corner. Formula 3 cars, because they don't have massive amount of power, it's all about maintaining minimum corner speed, just trying to carry momentum, and that's what he's tried to do. But he's just gone over what the rear tyres can cope with, basically, and just lost the rear of the car.
Focus on exit speed almost. It's one of the most crucial exits on the whole track, isn't it? And just like that, his car is already off the circuit, and that's how quick these recovery teams, the marshal teams, are around this circuit. They can get us back up to speed in a motor race very, very quickly, as demonstrated on several occasions. Well, Brando Badawe's car has been recovered, and it won't be long before the green flag is out. So Nicholas Solov watches on in around 3.5 minutes time. When we go green again, he'll know if he's going to take his first pole position in Formula 3, or will it be a record-breaking fourth for the Brazilian Rafael Camara, who sits in the pit lane. What's going to be going through your mind if you're in that pit lane? Yeah, race out?
Yeah, no, I think they would have been building up to the lap times. As I said, there was still a step to make. They still had half a second to find, which is quite a big step. But as we've seen in Group A, the tyres were just getting better and better as the session went on. I think some of this might be down to your track position in the pit lane, because obviously you've only got 3 minutes 21 left. You'll get 2 laps in and then a flying lap, so 2 laps to get the tyres up to temperature. and then a flying lap. If you're at the end of the pit lane, so where the pit entry is, you might not have enough time to do that. So once they get on track, we'll be able to see a bit better who's going to be able to get how many laps in.
Currently, Callum Voisin would be on the front row for the feature race. That would be a very good result for him. He'd be there alongside Nicholas Solov. He would be row 2, Mary Boyer and Roman Belinsky. Row 3 would be Noel Leon and Lawrence Van Hoopen. Row 4 would be an all-trident Charlie Wirtz and Rafael Camara. Row 5 would be Tuukka Tappinen and Tim Tramnitz and Alessandro Giusti. And then row 6, it would be Martinius Stenshorn and Tim Tramnitz, who would cycle to the front row for the sprint race alongside Martinius Stenshorn. So Tim Tramnitz at this stage would have pole position for the sprint race as we go green. But that could all change in 3 minutes' time. We've seen a slow build process through the tyres so far, Gary. And you mentioned that's because of the slower corners around Monaco in comparison to when we were on circuits, big circuits. Are they going to have to try and accelerate that process?
I would have thought so. I mean, depending on how much temperature they've been able to maintain in the tyres, they're either going to look for going, just this being an out kind of build lap, or pushing hard to try and get the temperatures up in the tyres and give themselves an extra lap. Because I think potentially some of the guys here could have 3 laps in total. So either two build laps and then a push lap, or maybe just 2 push laps in a row towards the end.
It's certainly not over, and as you said, the positioning is key. I'm looking down. Kamara finds himself in the middle. The Rodin guys towards the back. It's a case of who's towards the front, and it's the Red Bull junior Tim Tramnitz who's first in the queue, and he'll certainly take that. So MP had first dibs in terms of out the pit lane, and Tim Tramnitz not holding back at all. He's getting straight on with it as we head through.
Yeah, we'll see when they come across the line now how long they've got to go. A lap time is 1:25, 1:26 seconds, 1 minute 26 seconds. So if they've got that long left, they can get another 2 laps in. But be interesting to see when they come across the line.
Interesting, Santiago Ramos seemed to hold back and just give some space.
Yeah, I think potentially because of the way they were in the pit lane, they weren't going to get 3 laps in.
Yeah.
So they decided just to try and be one of the last with kind of 1 lap. So he's in a good position. He's got some free space. And got some able to kind of do his own warm-up procedure.
So we'll see if that works in his favour. He's kind of got nothing to lose. He's currently down 14th in this group. Let's remember, a whole other group has already taken part in this session already. Okay, Tim Tramnitz coming down the hill now towards Mirabeau, and they will get 1 more flying lap after this. And we reckon that's going to be the one where they really go for it, and into the hairpin he goes now.
Yeah, interestingly, there's about 4 cars, I think, that have another flying lap after this, and the rest that don't, which obviously are going to be pushing hard on this lap.
Right.
We've got 2 green first sectors popping up on the screen, but not a lot. There's a lot of people still not as quick as they went before.
Yeah, it's crucial to keep an eye on that. One of them, 2 green sectors, as Gary mentioned, and one of them is this driver here, Lawrence Van Hoopen. Can he challenge and get on the front row? If you're not going to challenge overall pole position, you want to at least be at the front of your group, and Lawrence Van Hoopen is trying to challenge that. Down into the Nouvelle chicane he goes now, brushing the wall as he goes through. He is on the absolute limit here, is Lawrence Van Hoopen, and purple is Tim Tramnitz.
Yeah, so the tyres are just... just losing his front group to back. Yeah, he's got a bit loose here. I think he's lost a lot of time in that sector.
Oh, and almost loses it coming out of the chicane and backs out of the lap time. Very, very wise. Voisin then at the moment a 1:25.359, not good enough. So it looks like pole position is going to revert backwards to Solov's time, which was a 1:24.882 over the line. Kamara in 3rd. That doesn't do it. That puts him 4th fastest as things stand. Callum Voisin will be 2nd on the grid. And we've got a runner off. Can't tell where that is. I think that's down at Portier 2. But yeah, runners and riders off the field then. Yellow flags will be out. That will spoil the lap times. I haven't actually been told where that yellow flag is out on the circuit though. So it is good. Roman Belinsky, look at that, goes top. Roman Belinsky's 1:25.332. has put him top of this group, but second on the grid is Nikola Solov, who has pole 124.882. That's how it runs at the moment then, in the best of the track conditions. Solov on pole. First time that Rafael Kamara has not been on pole position this year. So it's not 3 from 3. Chapnitz now goes third in this group. And that is the end of qualifying running.
And it's the Aramco pole position for Nikola Solov, a first for him in FIA Formula 3, and the Campos Racing cars will be 1 and 3 on Grand Prix Sunday for the feature race in FIA Formula 3. Congratulations, Nikola Solov. He took the sprint race win here last year, and now he is in pole position to take the feature race win come Sunday.
Okay, mate, that's P1 in session, and I'll make it P2 on the grid. Oh, yeah. Very good job, guys.
Wow, the Polish driver, Roman Bielinski, will line up on the front row of the grid, 9th in the championship, and he has a chance to elevate himself right up the standings with that result, Gary. Yeah,
he's done a great job there. As I say, I think a lot of them were compromised, and especially Kamara was setting good times, but just didn't manage to get the lap together. I don't know if he got a bit of traffic. He was quite close to a car when he crossed the finish line at the end of that lap, so not quite able to get himself on the front row, and actually is in the 4th row of the grid now. Someone that's been on pole position for the first 3 feature races this year.
Beaten for the first time is Rafael Kamara, who was 4th, so he will be on row 4 in that grid. For the feature race, he'll be slightly higher, and we're looking at Giusti, who will be on the front row and on pole position for the sprint race, and a chance to get himself a first podium, possibly a first win in Formula 3, so he has a great chance, but out front it will be a first Aramco pole position for Nikola Solov, a 3rd pole position for the team, and their first since Spa in 2023. What a result. They will be 1 and 3, and it will be Rodin 2 and 4, a battle between the 2 teams, Gary.
Yeah, it is an absolute battle, but the incredible performance by them in the first group. Like we saw, the guys in Group B just didn't have the lap time. The circuit didn't get quicker, or the guys in the Group A just did an incredible job, because the time difference still half a second between the 2 groups.
Ramos gave it everything, but too much into Mirabeau and went straight on. Van Hoopen to back got the better of him, as it's done many drivers over the years. But Nikola Solov, for the first time in Formula 3, he'll line up on pole position and has a chance to get a record-breaking 5th win and do it at Monaco. What a result that would be. Now, at the top of screen, not to take away from celebrations too much, it does not have to do with Campos Racing. Rafael Kamara, noted for a red flag infringement, our championship leader. So we will keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, so there's a few investigations. Obviously, there was a yellow flag out there as well when cars were coming around, and there's been some investigations there. So there might be some action going on after the session based on these investigations. These
results are always provisional, and that will certainly be the case. So, yeah, we will keep an eye on that. So there will be the Turn 1 incident involving Dufek and Chapuvazak, Van Hoopen, Wharton, Kamara, Badaware will be investigated after the session for a yellow flag infringement, and Kamara will be investigated after the session for a red flag infringement. So a few drivers who will be looked at after the session.
Lawson Radio.
That was P2. Really good job, mate. Yeah, but mate, I'm at the last lap. Sorry. Better than Nicola, just.
There was only 200s between him and Bielinski, and that's the difference between being on the front row and the second row.
Yeah, but he'll be pleased with that. To say he started near the front of the grid at Monaco, so he's got a great chance of the podium.
Absolutely, and he's got a chance, Callum Boy's in 7th in the championship, to start climbing himself up the order. So that's a really great result for him. Solov likewise 6th in the championship, chance to make an impact today. Kamara will be investigated after the session along with a few other drivers, so this result will be provisional, as always is. This is Group B. We know the Aramco pole position goes to Nicholas Solov. This is the drivers that will start on the outside row of the grid for the feature race on Sunday. Roman Belinsky on the front row for the first time for Road in Motorsport. Callum Boysen will be directly behind him. Tim Tramnitz in third place. Rafael Kamara fourth. Lawrence Van Hoopen fifth, and going off pole position for the sprint race will be Alessandro Giusti, Ugo Ugochukwu in seventh. Josh Dufek in 8th, Sanapol Inchapubazak next, and Christian Ho, James Wharton. Brando Badaware brought out the red flag, so his lap time will be deleted. Where will that leave him? We'll find out. Nicola Lacorte next, then Ramos and Nicola Marinangeli. That's the results provisionally. Do keep an eye on the Formula 3 website and social media to find out the result of any investigations after the session.
Well, there we have it then, all done and dusted. We are next up for all of the action with Formula 1's opening session. That's coming away in about an hour and 15 minutes time. Join us then for the action from Monte Carlo. Bye-bye.